Welcome back, guys, to SGT version 2.1. Today we're going to be going over a very small change to SGT, which I've been wanting to make for quite some time. It's the addition of our first truly custom tool. Now, if you saw recently in SMC, we actually added the Wither Bow, which was a black bow that Wither skeletons will occasionally spawn wearing. It's an uncraftable item that you can simply obtain by occasionally killing a Wither skeleton. And that is my effort to just add a little bit more variation into the game, create an entirely new feature so you can now have a more interesting looking bow if you just kill enough Wither skeletons, and I really like that. I think it's a really cool way of doing it. So following on with that trend of custom items being added to the game in various methods, I have now added a custom loot drop to the End City treasure chests, and this thing, as you've seen from the thumbnail, is the End Magnet, or the Void Magnet as it's actually been called now. I was originally going to call it the End Magnet, and then like all the file formats and everything already say End Magnet, and then I realized Void Magnet sounds better, so I went with Void Magnet, even though all the files say End Magnet. So maybe we'll change that in the future, but I don't really see a reason. So the way that you will find this thing is it is a 2% chance drop from an End City loot chest. And now an End City loot chest will actually run its loot anywhere from 2 to 6 times. So given that you have that, I believe that means that you technically have anywhere from a 4 to a 12% chance of finding this thing, I think. Is that maths? I think that's maths. I'm not entirely sure. But either way, I spawned 7 chests here, and I managed to get an End Magnet twice. So that gives you a rough idea of how rare these things are. Now, End Cities will spawn with anywhere from 0 to maybe 4 or 5 chests. So you might be able to find 2 in a single End City, or you might have to explore multiple End Cities in order to find one. Of course, it uses loot table data, so they are completely random. Wasn't here, wasn't here. There we go. So that is a Void Magnet. And this is exactly how you'll find it. If you're going about in the end and you explore some End City chests, you now have a chance at finding this new item called the Void Magnet. And as you can see there from its MBT data, it has lore saying Magnet in purple, and it also has a second line giving new players who haven't seen this thing before an idea at how to use it. So obviously this thing is a carrot on a stick, so it's entirely based around shift and right-click detection for the cycling mode, and then it's based around obviously regular right-click detection to activate it. Now, I've kind of been aware that this is a thing that people can do with carrot on a stick for quite a while, but I've never seen this implementation of having it spawn in a loot table like this and then using the custom model data of the item to kind of detect what stage the item is at, whether you can use it, and then of course you can have cooldown timers like we have on the side here, and I'm actually just going to do that just so we can get rid of that thing. So there is actually a cooldown to make sure that players can't spam it, and yeah, there it is. We have a Void Magnet. It's pretty cool. So you turn this thing on simply by right-clicking, and as you can see here, we're currently on magnet mode. When you turn it on, it will have this fancy new graphic, and you will also be spawning nether portal particles at the location of the item. Now, anything that you suck up with... I'm explaining this as if people know what it does. Okay, so magnets are quite common items that you can find in modded Minecraft or even some data packs right now. The reason why I wanted to make this was because I saw recently one of my followers on Discord, hi Jacob, one of them was actually using a magnet data pack in his survival world, and it inspired me to make something a little bit more in-depth, a little bit more kind of logical with the lore, and a few other things as well. Now, the interesting thing about this Void Magnet is that if you simply take a carrot on a stick and rename it Void Magnet, nothing happens. It won't work, it won't transform magically into a Void Magnet. It entirely uses the custom model data, which is uncontrollable by the player, to make sure this thing actually works. And you can see that the first time I activated it, we actually switched to now having from 2 MBT tags to 4 MBT tags. So once the item has been switched over at least once, it will be kind of activated, and now you can use it properly. So if I was to drop some items on the floor like so, you can see that our Void Magnet will actually allow us to pick them up from a much greater reach. So if I activate this thing... Lovely beacon sound effects. They're fantastic. Fantastic thing for this as well, but just the beacon sounds. It does have one custom sound that you'll need SDR for, but obviously I assume you'll have SDR for the textures anyway, so there you go. And as you can see here, it increases our kind of detection range for items from around about 1 block to 5, as you can see there. So when you have this thing activated, it will detect any items that are up to 5 blocks away from the player. And as you can see here, I've actually made it so that it's only limited to picking up 1 item at a time. So if we throw a bunch of items in a circle like this, it's going to look very cool when we snap them all up. So you can see the way this function works right now is it will run 20 times a second, but it can only focus on 1 entity at a time, and then it will spawn particles at the location of the entity and then teleport it to the player's location. So if we run this thing, you can see it's quite cool the way it works, and you can see all those particle effects that just got formed there for all the items that got teleported. Now, my logic for this thing is it's not a magnet as such, it's just a void technology. I'm planning on adding more void technology that you'll be able to find in the end cities, such as a staff of levitation and also an anti-gravity bow. And hopefully they should follow a similar theme to this one in terms of texture, so that they all look like concurrent items. And again, they will all be things that you can find in an end city that, you know, work independently, don't have a crafting recipe, and add quite nifty features to your survival game. Now, as you can see by the purple magnet mode, you may have realized there, we do actually have shift and right click to cycle modes. There is multiple modes for this item. The second mode, tractor beam mode, as you can see here, was a little bit more difficult to get right. One thing that I wanted to do with this item was have a little bit of like variation with how it works. So usually the way this item works is people will have it in their offhand in a data pack, and as long as this item is just permanently in their offhand, it will just always work. If it's in their main hand or just anywhere in their inventory, it just won't work. It just has to be in their offhand from what I saw. So again, the way this thing works is as long as it's activated, doesn't matter, it can be in our inventory anywhere, it can be in our offhand, but as long as it's in our inventory anywhere, it will still work. And I can demonstrate that like so. So if we were to get some items on the floor like this, and I was to activate the end magnet like that, and then just put it in my inventory anywhere, it will still work. So we can still pick up any items on the ground. You can see the particles still form perfectly like that. Now, the secondary part of this thing is like an active use item as opposed to the sort of passive nature of the magnet mode. So if we switch to the tractor beam mode, you can see we fire out this beam of blue particles, and it plays a lovely sound as we do it as well. And then if you stop right-clicking, it just goes back to normal. So what this does is it detects when the player first right-clicks and then boots up a scoreboard. Did I just say boop in terms of a scoreboard? I did. It boops up a scoreboard in terms of like a cooldown. And then when you right-clicking, the cooldown is able to count down, and then it switches back to the regular off mode. So you can see we turn it on, we get these lovely particle effects, which are actually the dolphin particle effects. It looks... I love how well this matches up. And this will boost a line about 18 blocks in front of us that picks up any items on the ground. So as you can see there, if I fire it out and then walk around, it's about 18 blocks in front of us, so it's quite nice. So if I go over to these items here, obviously just being nearby them won't do anything, but as long as I'm aiming at an item and right click, we can pick them up just like that. So 28 stone, and then get some more, and get some more as well. Now this again does work through walls, because again, I'm kind of, the lore is that it's like teleporting technology, not a magnet, so I'm fine with it working behind walls. If we just put a bunch of items down here. Anyone doesn't know, by the way, I'm just holding down Q for that. That's a thing you can do. I didn't realize until recently, but there you go. So if I use this thing through a wall, it will still work. As you can see there, still works absolutely fine. So it's kind of like teleporty technology. That's the way I'm like backing it up anyway. So yeah, so I really like this thing. It's really my first kind of like almost like proof of concept video. That, you know, I can make custom items now. I can add them to the game through loot tables using custom model data. I can give the item different abilities based on the custom model data and change it based on its current model data to have kind of like inactive and active like modes. And yeah, and I can use shift right clicking to cycle modes. There's so many options with this. I could even give it more modes. Like I've already labeled it as shift and right click to cycle modes. So I might even at some point in the future add additional modes to this aside from just the purple magnet mode and the blue tractor beam mode. And if you have any other ideas for modes that could be added to this thing that are helpful for item magnets, I was thinking maybe one along the lines of like destruction mode, which would obviously be red, because obviously destruction is like a dangerous one. So you want to alert the player and go, no, this is destruction mode. But I don't know what the practical uses for that would really be. As in the red mode would like destroy any items that you pick up as opposed to teleporting them to you. So I can't see why that would be helpful. But maybe if you were mining, again, you could accidentally just... I might add it, but I don't think I will. I think that's kind of a useless feature, but maybe we can in the future, depending on what you guys think. So yeah, once you get this data pack installed, go explore the end, find some new entities that you've not explored. If you can, you should be able to get yourself a void magnet pretty easily. And again, once you've got this thing, it does have infinite durability, because when it gets switched out, it's technically just resetting to a full HP carrot on a stick. Unfortunately, this thing will get used up if you ride a pig and use it. Just don't do that. Like, you're welcome to, but just don't, please. If I actually just get a pig, I kind of like the joke that like this thing is actually like it magnetizes pigs as well, because it's a carrot on a stick, so you can magnetize pigs with this thing. I think it's quite funny. I don't know. It's very strange. I don't really know what to do with that, but yeah, I don't think you can't feed pigs with this, can you? No, but if they have a saddle, you can ride them with it. Let's see. I can't even feed him the carrot. Can I feed him the carrot? Let's see if I can just feed. He's not being fed, so I don't think he's getting fed. Okay, whatever. Goodbye, pig. So yeah. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy this new little quirky item. Obviously, SGT is starting to get a little bit more complex now. I'm more than happy moving into some more quirky endgame type items like this. So yeah, if you do have any other suggestions for other custom items I could add, please do leave a comment below. You're always welcome to join the Discord. We have a lot of weird discussions about resource pack stuff and data pack stuff alike. And yeah, I hope you download the thing. If you have any feedback for me, feel free to message in the comments below. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one for some more strange custom items, hopefully. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, and bye-bye. I love the particle effect, man. It looks so cool. Look at that. It's so nice. Yeah, okay, bye.